Jai Hind everyone, I am Vivek Kumar Pansari, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In my last video related to Unit 3 of Fluid Mechanics and Machines, I discussed about different properties, various properties of fluid, in which I covered one property, that is the viscosity, and viscosity is that property whenever a fluid is subjected to shear stress, it deforms continuously and it also resists the flow, and the flow is resisted by what? Flow is resisted by the viscosity, the property which causes, by virtue of which the resistance in the flow of fluid between two adjacent layers occurs, that is what known as viscosity. And for that Newton derived a law, that is what known as Newton's law of viscosity, and on that basis the fluids are classified. Fluids are classified as Newtonian fluids and non-Newtonian fluids. So, this particular video is mainly related to how the shear stress, how the viscosity is changing as per the Newton's law of viscosity. On the time basis, on the shear stress basis, how the viscosity is changing, this is what the content of this particular video. So, the very first question is here is what are Newtonian fluids? Newtonian fluids where stresses is directly proportional to the rate of strain of fluid with constant viscosity at a fixed temperature and pressure. Why we are using this particular term fixed temperature and pressure? Because on the basis of temperature and pressure also the viscosity of fluid changes, but here we are not considering the change in temperature and pressure. Here we are considering what? Here we are considering only the shear stress, and because of that shear stress the rate of strain, why the shear strain is there? Because the adjacent layers of fluid are not moving with the same velocity, so that is why the strain is there. Okay. So, fluids in which the shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain, these are known as Newtonian fluid. The law of Newton's law of viscosity is also like this. It says what? The shear stress is directly proportional to what? Du over dy. This is what the velocity gradient, and this is also equal to what? D theta upon dt, and d theta upon dt is what? D theta upon dt is the rate of shear strain. So, that is why I can say the shear stress is directly proportional to d theta upon dt. So, the law, the fluids which are obeying this law, these are known as Newtonian fluid. Second thing is written over there, in Newtonian fluids viscosity remains constant. If obviously if these are directly proportional, then the ratio of shear stress and d theta upon dt will always a constant quantity. So, in Newtonian fluids generally have constant viscosity no matter the amount of shear applied for a constant temperature, but again it is emphasized that the temperature will remain constant. So, in that condition the Newtonian fluids will obey the Newton's law of viscosity and their viscosity remains constant at a certain temperature. These fluids have a linear relationship. Obviously, when the shear stress is directly proportional to d theta upon dt, then definitely the relation between the tau and d theta upon dt, if it is represented on graph, then the graph will be how? It will be a linear graph. Okay. So, this is what the Newtonian fluid is. Third statement, they obey the Newton's law of viscosity, yes, which is tau equal to mu du upon dy. Du upon dy, as I told, it can be written as d theta upon dt. Okay. The constant of proportionality is known as viscosity. The mu is here, mu is dynamic coefficient of viscosity, that can be written as what? Tau upon du upon dy. If tau is changing, then du upon dy or d theta upon dt is also changing. In that case we can say this mu remains constant. So, the constant of proportionality is known as viscosity. So, all these things are written over here. Tau is the shear stress exerted by fluid. Why the term drag is there? Because the layers of fluid, different layers of fluid moves with different velocity. The layers which are near to the stationary surface, they move slowly, but the layers of fluid which are near to the free surfaces move fast. So in that condition, these fast moving fluid layers drag the slow moving layers. So because of that, the shear stress is there. Okay, mu is what? Mu is the fluid viscosity, a constant of proportionality. Okay, and du upon dy, this is what the velocity gradient perpendicular to the direction of shear. Now before moving to some more discussion, it is necessary to discuss some very small terms. The strain, it is well known in mechanics of solid, we discussed this particular term. So the ratio of extension to the original length is called the strain. It has no unit, as it is a ratio of two lengths measured in meters. What is the strain rate? If this is the change in strain or deformation of a material with respect to time. Why we are talking about? Because here we are talking about d theta upon d theta is the strain, shear strain, but d theta upon dt, that is what? That is the shear strain rate. What is stress? And in that case, in the flow of fluid, which type of stress we are considering? We are considering the shear stresses, okay, mainly. So what is basically the stresses? This is also known to us. The stress applied to a material is the force per unit area, or other than force, we must say the resistance offered. The resistance offered per unit area applied to the material. The maximum stress a material can withstand before it breaks is called the ultimate stress. Okay, and what is shear rate? When obviously the shear rate is the rate at which a progressive shear deformation is applied to some material. Okay, so this is what at what rate it is getting deformed. At what rate it is getting deformed. So this is what the strain rate, stress and shear rate. Then we can see this graph. This is the graph between shear stress and strain rate, okay, for Newtonian fluid. So what we are observing, as I already told, that the graph between the shear stress and shear strain rate, which is the d theta upon dt, it is a linear curve. So obviously it will be linear curve because tau is directly proportional to du upon dy, or I can say the tau, shear stress, is directly proportional to the shear strain rate, which is d theta upon dt. So obviously the curve will be linear. And if tau and shear strain rate is having a linear relationship, then obviously at a constant temperature and pressure, the viscosity eta or viscosity mu, it will also be, this is the notation, somewhere you can use the mu, somewhere you can find it is eta. So this eta is constant with respect to shear strain rate, So this is the graph. So it means these two graphs A and B shows what? The relationship is linear between the shear stress and shear strain rate, and the viscosity remains constant. Okay, this type of flow behavior Newton assumed for all fluid is called Newtonian fluid, well discussed. It is however only one of several types of flow behavior you may encounter. Graph A shows the relationship between the shear stress and shear rate, which is a straight line, discussed. Graph B shows that the fluid's viscosity remains constant as the shear rate is varied. Okay, typical Newtonian fluids include water and thin mineral oil. So in short, I can say the Newtonian fluids are those fluids which obeys Newton's law of viscosity perfectly. It means the shear stress in fluid flow is directly proportional to the shear rate, which is d theta upon dt. In that case, the graph will be linear for what? For the graph of shear stress and shear rate, and the viscosity remains constant. So this is what the Newtonian fluid, and a typical example for that is the water and thin motor oils. We can say these are the typical examples. Water, mineral oil, gasoline, alcohol, these can be certain examples for Newtonian fluids. Okay, then non-Newtonian fluids. So obviously the very first definition which comes in our mind, the fluid which does not obey the law of Newton's law of viscosity. So these fluids are known as non-Newtonian fluids, but some more discussions are required. So I will be going in detail of these. What are non-Newtonian fluids? Where the stress is proportional to the rate of strain, its higher powers and derivatives everything other than Newtonian fluids. So obviously the stress is proportional to the rate of strain, its higher power and derivatives. Strain and stress are related to each other but not linearly related with higher power. So the fluids which are other than Newtonian fluids, they are having this type of relationship. Non-Newtonian fluids are opposite to the Newtonian fluid. When shear is applied to non-Newtonian fluids, the viscosity of fluid changes. So the two characteristics of Newtonian fluids, first one in that the Newtonian fluid, the shear stress is directly proportional to the shear rate, whereas the second is the viscosity remains constant. Non-Newtonian fluid does not obey both the characteristics, both the statement. So these are, the stress is proportional to the higher powers of the shear rate and the viscosity of fluid changes with shear rate. A non-Newtonian fluid is broadly defined as one of which is the relation tau upon y is not a constant. Obviously, when the viscosity is not constant, this is the ratio of shear stress upon shear rate. It means the mu is changing, it means the viscosity is changing, it is not a constant. It means that there is a non-linear relationship between the shear rate and shear stress. Yes, that's why these are considered as non-Newtonian fluid. In other words, when the shear rate is varied, the shear stress doesn't vary in the same proportion or even necessarily in the same direction. Certain examples for non-Newtonian: soap solution, cosmetics, food such as butter, jam, cheese, soup, yogurt, natural substances such as lava, gums. These are the certain examples of non-Newtonian fluids. Now the non-Newtonian fluids are again reclassified, and these are considered as dilatant, pseudoplastic, thixotropic and rheopactic. Okay, so non-Newtonian fluids are having some more characteristics. So on that basis, these are classified again as these four categories. And in these four categories, dilatant and pseudoplastic, first one I am considering the dilatant fluid. The viscosity of the fluid increases when shear is applied. What does it mean? Viscosity of the fluid increases when the shear is applied. Examples we can take here: quicksand, corn flour, starch in water, potassium silicate in water. These are the certain dilatant fluid. But what property dilatant fluid have? Viscosity of fluid increases. So here we can check the graph, and viscosity is changing, viscosity is increasing, along with what? Along with the shear stress. So here we can see the graph between the shear stress and shear rate. So shear stress is also changing as the shear rate is increasing, and along with that shear stress or shear rate, the viscosity is also changing. So these type of fluid where the viscosity of fluid increases when the shear is applied, or when the shear rate is changing or shear rate is increasing, then along with that the viscosity of dilatant fluid also changes. Examples I already covered. These are the examples: quicksand, corn flour, starch in water, potassium silicate in water. Okay, increasing viscosity with an increase in shear rate characterized the dilatant fluid. Although rarer than the pseudoplasticity, dilatancy is frequently observed in fluids containing high levels of defocculated solids such as clay, slurries, candy, compounds and sand water mixture. Dilatancy is also referred to as shear thickening flow behavior. It means as the shear stress is increasing, the shear rate is increasing, along with that the viscosity is also increasing. So this is what the meaning shear thickening flow behavior. Pseudoplastic is another kind. So in pseudoplastic, it is the opposite of dilatant. The more shear applied, the less viscous it becomes. It means the viscosity decreases with shear rate. So certain examples are ketchup, polymer solution, grease, starch suspension, biological fluid, detergent slurries. Now we can check the curve. Here what we are observing, that the shear stress is increasing the shear stress is increasing, the curve is exactly opposite. So shear stress is increasing with shear rate, but along with that shear rate, the viscosity is decreasing. The viscosity is decreasing here. So that's what is said here, that pseudoplastic is having an opposite behavior as compared to the dilatant one. So the more shear applied, it means the shear rate is high. In that case, it becomes less viscous. So these are the fluids known as pseudoplastic. Okay. So by the graph also it is clear what it is. This type of fluid will display a decreasing viscosity with an increasing shear rate. From the graph also it is clear, with the shear rate the viscosity is decreasing. Probably the most common of the non-Newtonian fluids, pseudoplastic, includes paints, emulsion, dispersion of many types. This type of flow behavior is sometimes called shear thinning. In dilatant is what it was shear thickening. In case of pseudoplastic, it is shear thinning behavior. So here we can see a combined curve for dilatant as well as for the pseudoplastic, how the viscosity is changing with the stress or shear rate. So in dilatant the viscosity is increasing, whereas in pseudoplastic the viscosity is decreasing as the stress or the shear rate is increasing. Now another kind of fluid, another two categories, that is the thixotropic fluid and rheopactic. Okay. Thixotropic. Fluids with thixotropic properties decreases in viscosity when shear is applied. Fluids with thixotropic property decreases in viscosity when shear is applied. Certain examples: ink, paint, cosmetics, asphalt, glue, drilling muds. These are the example of thixotropic. What is happening here? The viscosity is changing. Fluids having thixotropic property decrease in viscosity. Viscosity decreases as the shear is applied. So here, but it is time dependent also. Earlier dilatant and pseudoplastic, time independent type, but these thixotropic and rheopactic, these type of fluids are time dependent also. So here the viscosity is changing by increasing time, by the change in time. So that's what the fluids with thixotropic properties decrease in viscosity when shear is applied, but it depends on time also. So this is the curve for the viscosity. These fluids exhibit a reversible decrease in shear stresses with time at a constant shear rate. Some polymer solutions, some food materials and paints, these are the certain examples for this. Rheopactic. Rheopactic is very similar to dilatant in that when shear is applied the viscosity increases. The difference here is that the viscosity increase is time dependent. Okay, so as I already told that the thixotropic and rheopactic are time dependent fluid where the viscosity changes with time also, but more or less the viscosity is increasing. So we can say the behavior is more or less similar as the dilatant are having. So rheopactic is very similar to dilatant in that when shear is applied viscosity increases. The difference here is that the viscosity increase is time dependent, whereas in case of dilatant it is time independent. Certain examples for this is gypsum paste, cream, bentonite clay suspension. These are the certain examples of rheopactic type of fluid. So here we can see the viscosity increasing with respect to time also, obviously along with shear stress also, but along with time also the viscosity is increasing. Okay, here we can see a combined graph. Okay, combined graph. The ideal solid, it is shown here. Ideal solid is shown here. So it is showing maximum resistance. Okay, shear resistance is offered maximum. Ideal fluid, which does not offer any kind of shear stress when the fluid is flowing. The Newtonian fluid, the relation is linear between the velocity gradient and shear stress, or I can say the shear stress and shear rate. The curve is linear. For non-Newtonian pseudoplastic, the curve is like this, where viscosity is decreasing. Here the viscosity is increasing. Non-Newtonian dilatant type of fluid. Okay, so these are the combined graph. We have already studied all these in separate manner. So one or two points I want to summarize here. First, the Newtonian fluids which obeys Newton's law of viscosity. in which the shear stress is directly proportional to shear rate or the velocity gradient. The graph between the shear stress and shear rate is linear and viscosity remains constant in general if the pressure and temperature is non-changing. Okay, so in that condition these type of fluids are known as Newtonian fluids. Now, if we come across the fluids which are not obeying the law of Newton's law of viscosity, it means their viscosity will change with time. These can be classified as time independent and time dependent. If I am talking about time independent type of non-Newtonian fluid, then these are dilatant and pseudoplastic. In dilatant fluid, the viscosity increases with shear rate, whereas in pseudoplastic the viscosity changes or decreases with shear rate. When I talk about the time dependent, in which I found the thixotropic and rheopactic. So in thixotropic the viscosity decreases, whereas when I talk about rheopactic the viscosity increases with the respect of time. And obviously when the shear stress is not directly proportional to the shear rate, then the curves will not be linear. These curves will be some suiting to the requirement or suitably fitting into the curves which are of higher powers. So I hope with this particular discussion you will be able to understand what are the different types of fluid and what basically the Newtonian and non-Newtonian fluids. So thank you for watching the video. Thank you very much. Thank you.